Greetings and welcome to my Nobunaga's Ambition Sphere of Influence Let's Play. It's been a while since one of these have come out. I believe the last one, at least in North America, was Iron Triangle for the PlayStation 2, which came out in, I want to say, 2008 or 2009. My experience with Nobunaga's Ambition, I've played Iron Triangle, a little bit more familiar with the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series. The first Koei game I ever played was Romance 4. It was the first PlayStation game I ever bought. And I've played, since then, the Sega Genesis version of Nobunaga's Ambition as well. So, my experience is minimal, but I have played a lot of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. As I said, it was actually the first PlayStation game I ever bought. I bought the game on a whim. It was sitting there on the shelf, used game shelf, and looked at the back, seemed interesting. Used to play Civilization 2 on the PC, figured I'd give this Romance 4 a shot, and loved it. Beaten that a bunch of times, and a friend in college told me about this series. So anyway, pretty excited. This specific Sphere of Influence version I've gotten for the PlayStation 4. I did the tutorial earlier today and played around with it for an hour or two just to try and get a feel for the game before doing this. Different things that you can do. You can play and start a new game, obviously, load your other games. You can actually edit the historical officers in the game, which is kind of interesting. Edit their information, change the portraits. You can also create your own officers, which is always fun. In this playthrough, I won't actually be doing this. One of my favorite things to do, at least in Romance, used to be creating my own set of like 3 or maybe 4 officers, and then attempting to take over China with my own startup kingdom. But I think I'm going to use, I believe it's the Kyushu region of Japan in the south, and drag out from there, but I'll get to that in a second. There's also the feats, another word for achievements, I suppose, or trophies. Officer directory. All the officers in the game actually have, I think if you met them, you can open them. And you can see the portraits and their information, but I've just started this game and got it today, so obviously that's not there. DLC for it, there's 9 DLC packs. One of them is free in the first 4 weeks, and the rest of them, I believe, are $3 American. So it's like $20 for all of them. It's not bad to support them. I ended up getting them because I'll probably end up playing the game a lot. So these are all the different scenarios. They seem to jump by a few years, all the way up to the Battle of Sekigahara, and a custom fictional campaign with, I think, just 30 different officers, and it's kind of like a battle royale, I think, is the intent of this. Anyway, I'm going to be playing in 1534, down in the region over to the left of the screen, and which is more or less south, in real global orientation. What's neat about getting the different regions and playing in different ones, you'll notice that the mons for the different daimyo are actually, they change. There's little icons that the mons are. So you'll notice that as you go through, they expand and contract and disappear. You can actually change the difficulty level of the game just by keeping on normal, by moving to a different daimyo and having less officers and whatnot to make it more difficult or easier. And there's tons of replayability for that. That's one of the main reasons why I got the additional campaign settings just for the versatility of each of the different starting setups for the different daimyo. In case you don't know what a daimyo is, the daimyo is kind of like a ruler, a warlord. It's the Japanese name for the different rulers of the provinces. I believe the intent of each of the areas that are signified by the daimyo's mon are the provinces. I don't know if they're all there though. As I said, I'm going to be doing 1534 June, birth of Nobunaga. So Nobunaga is... Where's his mon? I think over here. Oh, I think it was... Yeah, right here. And then you have... the different guys over here. I was thinking of starting here and then maybe trying to expand northward up here, but decided to, I believe, over on the, I'm gonna use this section over here. Main focus will be basically to, I believe this is called the Kyushu province region, this island, and I'll try and conquer this first. And expand from there, more or less make it up as I go, adapt to the different things. And it might be Shimazu, but I think there's more than one. Just wanted to check their stats of castles and cities. Yeah, so I'm gonna be the Shimazu, Takahisa Shimazu, and stick everything to just normal basically for the settings. You can switch these by making it more difficult or less difficult. There's the defaults for easy, normal, hard, and extreme, or you can edit them to your liking. But I'm just gonna do normal. I find normal seems to work the best, especially since choosing a certain scenario with different daimyo also increases the difficulty. So I'm going to stick with the defaults. So I haven't created any officers, but this is how, up at the top is how you would have them enabled so that you can see them and maybe other daimyo or your daimyo can hire them. Whether or not quests are on this lifespan is interesting. They'll either die at their historical date, recorded date, or via, I guess, an equation, or they live until they've been executed, or maybe are forced to commit seppuku. I don't know if that can happen in this game. But yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it a historical. For me, that's not an advantage or a disadvantage because I don't know when many of the officers died, so it'll be news to me if somebody dies of an illness or suddenly, or if dies of a poison or something like that. Anyway. One thing I am going to choose different though is I'm going to turn on this maiden officers. I believe from reading the manual and kind of playing around a little bit, the maidens in the game, which you can court to other daimyo for political purposes, you can make them officers instead of maidens. You have the choice, so I think that option is pretty cool, so I'm going to choose... this might not be historically entirely accurate, but I personally don't really care. Yeah, so... this is the game, and just confirm that. And let the game load in.
表情を始めましょう。
Okay, so just as an FYI for the watchers, you can make them speak Japanese or English. I changed it to Japanese just because I believe it's more appropriate, and it doesn't bother me. Or you can mute them too, I think. But just so you're aware that the option is there. There's a lot of different options in the menu that I didn't go over, but I'm sure somebody else online has, or you can look at the options in the manual. Okay, so this is the basic map. Oh, cool! Look, the volcano is active. That's kind of frightening. Okay, so this is the basic map. It's very menu-driven, although I use that term loosely because a lot of the menus are just images of towns and cities and fortresses and castles. One thing, though, is that I like to play with, the tutorial told me that you can turn these on, and what these are, they display the province boundaries, which is the outline color, the roads, which is where your troops march and stuff like that, and how everything interconnects with each other, excuse me, your friendship, and the last one is, yes, all the strategic information. So anyway, I like that on. And I believe I only have one city. Oh wow, I have like an entire region. Okay, I was not expecting that. Although it did say that I had just different amount of castles. Okay, so that's all of Japan. So again, I have this like province area. I believe this is actually where somewhere in here is where the Dutch landed, in here. And the daimyo that I've actually chosen might be related to who accepted the Christian Europeans and imported the first guns into Japan. So anyway, you have the different city names. This number here is the troop count, and you can see the different towns and stuff like that too. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the places that are listed with handshake symbol, the friendship symbol, are the capitals, although that wasn't 100% clear for me. And yeah, and if you select them, you can actually see their, like, the capital. You can see like the relations. I guess this one has none, but I need to know who. Just give me a moment and I'm going to add all the towns that I have to the list on the bottom. Wait, yeah, that is mine. Okay, so see that line? That means that he's got a affiliation with that person over there. Okay, so they don't trust me. They don't. Okay. Okay, so whenever you get into the game, just to explain the basics so that people can watch this video and then the rest of them if they're interested in seeing more of the gameplay. Pressing square brings up this menu, triangle brings up this menu here. And you can do civil orders, infrastructure, postings, foreign, convert, retainers, investigation, province, deploy, request, directions, attack, and end return. So underneath each of these, this will allow you to use your labor points, which you can see up at the top, which is the flexing arm. in order to improve and develop each of your different locations. The policy enacts various policies that you can actually enact so that you get a bonus, but there's also a bane to each of them, and each of them are explained in the list. I have not gone through them all. I did, in my previous trial run, use one to increase food, but it basically almost made my country bankrupt, so because it costs way too much money to do. And this is commerce or trade, where you can buy and sell goods, horses, or cavalry, and sell your goods for gold. What I'm actually is surprised they call it gold instead of koku, but I digress. In the infrastructure place, to explain this a little bit in more detail, what this is allows you to build infrastructure for each of your different cities. So if you come in, you'll notice that there's different regions. And these are these outlined areas here. So I have one available to me, and these ones lack development in order to build facilities on them. But then whenever you actually go through here, you have a flowchart which shows you the flow of what you can do, and if you select them, it'll give you a description on exactly what it does, what it costs. The different areas you'll notice on the screen, see how there's crafts of D. This one has crops, crafts, and conscripts. And this one crops. And I'm assuming you can bring up those numbers by developing. You'll notice here the left side of the menu underneath Halada Castle. The first one, believe that's goods. 124 of that's maybe a third to a half of that entire possibility. You grow that, it'll probably grow them here. And the second one is crafts, and the third one is conscripts, which are your troops. So it looks like it's maxed out on this city. Anyway, so that's what that does. This allows you to use labor in order to improve your base or your castle. So you can click on here, and there's the different areas of your actual city in castle. So you can upgrade each of the different sections. You'll see, okay, I can upgrade this to earthen walls, but it takes a certain number of space, as you can see up here. And it'll show you how much it costs and what the benefit is. Definitely things you're going to want to go through. Upgrading each of the different sections into like what you want your Yakata to actually look like, and stuff like that. So that's what that does. Oh, this is repair. People attack you and your places get damaged. That's how you fix it. Fortify posts. Improve roads. I believe improving roads also increases your troop movement, especially moving troops through like mountains and stuff. But I'm not entirely certain, as I have not done that before, but that would make sense to me at least. This is expanding districts. So as you saw on this screen here, these different districts of the towns, and every city has castle and village has different districts. To expand to the different ones, you have to actually spend the labor in order to do that, and have the proper infrastructure as a prerequisite before you can actually spend the labor to do it. This is changing a district from one type to another. If you find that you need more food, you can provision some of your provinces in order to change what commodities they create for you. Construct, what this does is allows you to build a fortress. I don't know exactly what they do, but I'm assuming they have amazing defense. And get rid of your fortress. I believe everything you build in the game has an upkeep. And what I mean by that is it has a cost to maintain. So if you continue to build way too much and you don't produce enough, it's a balance act. Okay, postings. So this is what the menu option allows you to move and summon officers from a city to another city, vice versa. So you can move your officers to different areas. Foreign, in more detail, this will allow you to gain trust. Again, the handshake symbol on their capitals is the trust number, and the higher that is, the better relationship you'll have with them. So if they're friendly with you and you attack enemy that they are not friendly with, I believe is what the tutorial explained, then they will help you if they're within the region. So that's pretty cool. So there's also tribes in the area. You'll notice if you let me zoom in. So that sword thing, the sword icon over here is a tribe. You can befriend them. See, they have a 3% liking to the Shimazu clan, which is my clan. And there's another one down here. And they have a 25% liking to me. So if I get this high enough, then they will help me in defensive or attack. If I were to attack or be attacked by this guy, for example, and they liked me, they would help me. If they liked this clan, then, or this daimyo, then they would attack me. Moving on. So, oops. Sending messages. Give a treasure to a foreign state to increase trust. I haven't seen treasures yet, but in romance at least, you can find them whenever you search for people. Or certain officers have them, and you can use them to increase loyalty on some of your officers, or give them as gifts, or just hoard them for yourself. It's entirely up to you. This allows you to create a coalition. So you're attacked, then you have to help them out. You attack somebody, or somebody else attacks somebody, you should help them out. Or you should in both cases, I guess, but you don't have to. I'm not entirely sure if you have to. Conduct diplomacy. Assign a title. I believe you have to conduct diplomacy with the Imperial Court and gain a status and rank before you can actually do this. Anyway. So, covert, these are work strategies. So, this increases the likeliness of a tribe being friendly to you. This will assimilate a tribe, and you migrate them to your kingdom, I guess. Get them to do something. And, yeah, so the retainers, this manages your officers. You can employ Ronin that are traveling through your area. Appoint a caste lord. Reward treasure to an officer is, I guess, to increase their loyalty. If they're disloyal, they may actually defect to other daimyo. And this is kind of cool. Train other officers to teach them a trait. I wish that's something you could do in Romance of the Kingdoms. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe in the next version, who knows? Or in the version that didn't come out in North America. Match a maiden to an officer. I was talking about maidens before, so I believe they're used for political reasons. Well, that's why they're used, but for allianceships and stuff like that. I don't think I have any maidens in my kingdom anyway. Yeah, and fire an officer, grant a rank to an officer, but I don't have ranks now because I'd have to gain a title myself, I think. This is for espionage and spying. Surveys your own cities, and then you can find traits within your different districts within your cities, and find like fountain, or all of a sudden you find that there's a mine there or something like that. Perform reconnaissance on enemy base, and basically what this does is it tells you, if I were to do reconnaissance on Hilasa, then what would happen is that I would all of a sudden, if it underneath it being successful, I would know more information about their officers and the town, specifically how many troops they have there. So it's very good information to know and have when you want to go attack somebody. And lastly, manage provinces, change main bases. So this feature was in Romance 11, if you've played that game. As your empire expands through all of Japan, it becomes very hard to micromanage absolutely everything. So also you only have so many damn, I forgot what it's called. You only have so many worker points. You're probably yelling at the screen saying, oh, it's this. Development points. Labor points. Sorry. Your labor points, anyway, so as you expand, you can section off different provinces and the AI will take over. So you don't have to, basically. And I believe you can actually, or at least you could in Romance of 11, tell them to supply the main base with certain supplies and stuff like that. I'm not 100% on exactly how that works, because I haven't gotten that far in the game. Just got it, so... anyway, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to... whoops. I'm going to spy on this guy. And figure out what his troops are like. I'm going to try and befriend both of these tribes, and I'm going to improve the status of each of my cities. By developing them so that I can produce more food. Food equals population, population equals military, so I'm going to start there. It seems logical to me, so that's what I'm going to do. And I don't have, doesn't look like I have that much of a force. 3, 4, maybe around 4,000, 400, something like that. So, just going to the different cities. So, I'm not going to worry about this down here. Much for conscripts, and just do crops and get the overseer to do it. And I'm going to do that basically for almost everything. This looks like it's actually out of my own territory. Huh. Oh, I don't have any labor points. Okay. So we're gonna end the turn there. Okay. Tadaki Ijuin. My liege, the key to surviving this age of war is making our town flourish and thrive. Our town lacks people and has not the wealth other land settlements do. First, for the sake of supporting our soldiers as well, let us bring prosperity to our town. I would agree. Oh, a quest. Okay, games objectives. If you're not sure on how to play or want to reenact history, try completing them. Whether or not you complete the quest, it's up to you. When a quest starts, you can choose whether or not to accept it. Choose not to accept it, however, may prevent other quests from occurring. Please be careful. Choose to accept the quest will display its completion conditions. If you also see conditions in the quest list, you can check the following quest lists: completed, failure, what happens, objective, castles, and units of the quest will be displayed with an exclamation point over them. Keep an eye out for those. Be wary if you take drastically different actions from what the quest expects. You may fail regardless of the failure conditions. You can abandon quests at any time by pressing triangle button. Be wary, though this may prevent other quests from occurring. Country building always starts with the basics. Increase our low income and start by developing our town. Proceed the historical quests. Yes. That's one thing I really like about this game when I was reading about it, is the quest system, how it intertwines actual events in history, teaches you. Okay.
表情を始めましょう。
Instead of just being a military strategy game, it's actually teaching you some history.
先月の収支です。
Okay, so looks like we made $281, so that's good.
報告いたしますぞ。
Okay, so the people have added commons at Ikaku Castle due to growth. Commons can be changed. Okay. Okay, so I believe, zooming in again, if I press option, there's should be a way to oh, what was it, the touchpad? Nope. L2? There it is, quests. Okay, wealth and power. Okay, so they're all for Uchi Castle. Losing Uchi Castle is the lose condition. Okay, so gain politician trade. Conscripts to 350, crafts to 400, crops to 450. Let's start with crops. Okay, so that's this castle right here. Okay, so develop. Okay, so that'll be that completed. And I don't believe I developed this one last time, so I'm just gonna increase this one. And I'm gonna do this one again. Huzzah.
養生を始めましょう。先月の収支です。報告いたしますぞ。
Oh, it's right here. Okay, Uchi Castle. So, conscripts. I'll do that next. Also, I'm gonna spy on Hilasa in order to get an idea of what I'm dealing with here. So, I'm gonna send this guy. Oh, no, don't want to remove an overseer. Right. I'm gonna send this guy to get information on that city. The other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and befriend, as I said, these guys. How do you do that again? Here we go. So it looks like everybody near us is normal. Okay, so we want to appease... Well, I want to appease this one because it's close to the enemy. Send him. I don't know the disadvantage of sending the overseer.
養生を始めましょう。先月の収支です。
So we lost $19.
報告いたしますぞ。
Okay. One or more enemy castles have been scouted. There has been a harvest of rice. Appeasing the Togo tribe worked well. Okay. Okay, and what was the conscript number again? Was it... 350. Okay. Develop. Oops. Confirm. Get out of the screen. Zoom in. Okay, so they only have... Well, it looks like I got information from here too. And over here. Oh, it's my town. They only have 786. So after I befriend these guys, and I guess these guys, and I'll do all three of them. After I complete the quest, maybe I'll attack this guy up here. Okay, so... Gonna continue to develop everything. Did that city.
先月の収支です。
Gained a profit this month. That's good.
報告いたしますぞ。
Okay, so continuing the conscript. Probably one more month till that's complete. And that amount of troops is double his, so what I'm also going to do is I'm going to spy on their other town just to see what type of reinforcements I'm dealing with. Oh. I'll send him again. I'm going to save some of my development points. Actually, no. I'm going to build... That's a lot of money. But I'm going to do it. A messenger has come from Sashu Shimadu. Will you grant him an audience? Yes. Oh, okay, so that's the guy I've been spying on. How about forming an alliance and taking over this nation together? 24 months. I'm gonna refuse. He obviously sees me as a threat. Whoa. Oh, right, because the infrastructure cost of building the stone walls. Okay. One or more of our enemy castles has been scouted. Okay, good. Finish scouting. Okay. So, one more conscript. That should complete the quest. Yep. Okay. Oh, so I guess they don't have anything over here. 2 officers. Okay, this should be fairly easy. Ending turn. I like this view a lot because it's easy to see, and whenever there's military units moving around, you can see the little dots, which is very handy. Oh, he's down there too. Training has paid off. Okay, so a couple guys' stats went up. Okay, so I didn't actually realize that they were down here. 500 soldiers, 500 soldiers. Okay, that's their capital. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna befriend this guy, because he has an ally up there. What about this guy down here? Yeah, I'm gonna befriend this guy up here. Oh. I'm gonna point... Takahisa. And he's got the highest intelligence. Oh, it's only gonna increase trust by 6? 22 months? No thanks. What about this? 22 months by 6. You know what? Forget it. They can stay indifferent to me until I become a warmonger. So only have 3 production. I'm just gonna wait out this turn. What an energetic kid. Oh, I've got it. He'll be Yoshihiro when he comes of age. My name is Taimyo Tadamasa, allow me to offer my talents up to the Shimazu clan. Oh, sweet. Second son of Tadayoshi. His stats actually pretty good. High 78 leadership, so yeah, I definitely won't reject that.
養生を始めましょう。先月の収支です。報告いたしますぞ。
One of our boys has come of age. We've gained an extra retainer. Cool. Okay, so it's January of 1535. It's the beginning of the year. I think I'm gonna save it.